Welcome to the Voice of Retail. I'm Michael LeBlanc, your host. The Voice of Retail is produced in conjunction with Retail Council of Canada, and it's presented by Hale, a performance marketing partner trusted by brands like ASICS, Sage, and Orange Theory to scale with focus and impact. John, welcome to the Voice of Retail podcast, first episode 2026. How are you?
I am good. It's an honor. Happy New Year. Great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Where am I finding you today?
I am in the wonderful metro of Toronto here in Ontario.
Fantastic. Where'd you grow up? Are you from Toronto area? Where'd you grow up?
You know what? I grew up just north of the city here, a small town called Bolton. That's where I grew up. I moved all over the world supporting retailers, but Toronto and the greater Toronto area is home for me.
Fantastic. Well, you've got quite the background, so I want to get into that first. And then we're going to talk about Mastermind. And I have to tell you, you're not my first Mastermind president I've had on the podcast over the number of years. But I'm somewhat looking forward to getting your perspective. And there's exciting new things happening. And of course, I know David Louie and the team well as well. So lots of interesting things to talk about. Let's start a little bit about you. For those who may not know you, tell us about you've had an amazing career in both consulting and retail. Tell us a little bit about it.
No, hey, well, thank you. And I mean, I've spent my career really at the intersection of retail strategy and retail execution. And as you said, I spent first half of my career in retail consulting as a partner with the Boston Consulting Group, working with global brands on growth strategy, operations, turnarounds. And did that not only here in Canada, but also in the US, the UK. My wife and I had the opportunity to move down to Australia for a period of time. But at some point, I wanted to move from advising to actually being accountable for results.
Not everybody makes that transition, eh? Like, that's not always a smooth transition either way, no, I find, right? No,
and I had a fantastic mentor when I first joined Walmart, who was a client of mine, Dirk Vandenberg. He asked me into his office one day. I was concerned he was going to challenge me about a bill, and he offered me an option on a career. I think there was a voice inside of me immediately that said, yes, this is a great move for me, because I had always wanted to roll up my sleeves and get into it. And so, the last decade, it's been a shift onto the other side in senior leadership roles across retail with Walmart here in Canada. Have been involved with many boards in the philanthropic and corporate space, and had this phenomenal opportunity earlier this year to join Mastermind Toys as the CEO, who, as you know, is Canada's leading specialty toy retailer. And what really drew me to Mastermind is it's this brilliant combination of purpose, brand trust, and some real magic in communities. And it's a business where culture, experience, economics sort of all come together. So for me, I thought it was a perfect fit with where I was at my career.
What's it like operating in a specialty retail? You've operated in the biggest retailer in the world, so you've gone from curbside to curbside. There's pros and cons to each. What have been your early observations?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one is it's making sure when you're in a specialty retailer, right, you're very, very clear on what your purpose is. I think when you're in a larger retailer, you've got the scale, you've got the drive, but you have to have real focus and discipline on why you exist and why you're there to add value. Because you obviously, something like Mastermind, you're not going to go toe to toe with some of the giants over discounts. But where you really win is being clear on what makes you unique and special. The other fun thing is, you're rolling up your sleeves and really getting into it, and getting at the back and helping the team solve problems. Whether that's getting into stores, looking at how to solve problem on layouts, walking. At one point was even walking through picking items in the back with the DC team here to help them figure out how to improve processes. And it's those type of experiences that I've had more of and really enjoyed here at Mastermind.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's talk about Mastermind. As you said, top specialty retailer. A lot has happened, and I have an audience that extends around the world. So tell us a little bit more about Mastermind, the journey the brand's been on for the past couple of years, and where you sit today.
Yeah, so we're as I mentioned, a Canadian toy specialty retailer, and it's really built around this promise of purposeful play. the idea is we curate toys that really spark curiosity, learning, development, rather than just competing on price or kind of mass licensing. And, what makes it really the brand special for me is long before I was a CEO, I was a customer. My wife and I have twins, and when they were younger, Mastermind was a regular Saturday morning destination for us. Very often it was a last minute stop as we were panicked before a birthday party. We'd walk in, we'd talk to a play expert, which is what we call our store staff. Say, hey, I'm going to a birthday party for an 8-year-old. They're interested in dinosaurs, and here's my budget. And really within minutes, you'd walk out with a great on-trend gift that was gift wrapped for free. And so it felt effortless, it was special, and it really felt like magic.
What's been your observation about or talk about your online efforts and how you see yourself? Physical stores. We're going to talk about the expansion of physical stores, but thinking about online, I know the last couple of years have been a real focus to. I don't know if I describe it as catching up, but be best in class in specialty in online. Is that working for you?
Yeah, our online business. I mean, our digital sales are north of 25% this year. And it's been a real growth engine for us. I think we're finding we've got to compete in both, right? Our customers, nobody's just an online customer or an in-store customer. It's an omni-channel customer. And so what's important for us is our brand is anchored around experience and trust, centered on that store experience, but also, online, coming forward with a promise where we can do things like same day ship from store, gift wrapped items. That's something that's unique. And again, it plays into the magic of Mastermind, where you can get a beautiful gift that's been curated by play experts, delivered to your home in an easy way. And we think there's real legs for that, as well as in our physical stores, which have always been a magical destination for families.
I know retailers, kind of a segue to my next question, retailers have been telling me they're sometimes surprised by the appetite for 1, 2, 3 hour delivery, by the platforms. And it's interesting because your description of your experience firsthand is, last minute, we got to get a gift. It feels like that's I didn't think it would be as big as it is because there's a premium cost to it, but there is a role for that kind of very, very fast distribution. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I mean, that's we have three large customer segments that we serve. There's the young professional families, very time pressed, but they're looking for that special magical gift for their children. And so whether they're coming in, they want to shop. They love the Mastermind differentiation of expert-led curation, where customers trust our judgment to get navigated to some great ideas. They also trust our staff, right? This is not just a transaction. It's an experience and a service. And increasingly for us, how we differentiate ourselves is with owned or exclusive brands that you're not going to be find anywhere else. And so a great example is Coco Village, which is a exclusive modern children's brand that was acquired shortly after the current ownership group took over Mastermind. And it's deeply aligned around our values of purposeful play and design. And it's a brand that's absolutely been exploding in sales. And as of today, represents north of 20% of our overall sales. So when you have things like that going on, it can be a real differentiator for us, for our customers. And if we're going to compete in kind of this new omni-channel world, our takeaway is really simple. It's focus can beat scale if you have it.
So let's talk about the current state of the toy retail industry. I have this feeling that the vendors are looking for points of distribution. It's been a fair bit of disruption, even if we go back to the COVID era, but even post, pre-COVID, it wasn't exactly a thriving category. There's a lot of big players who are price focused and assortment focused. And there's been coming and going of specialty concepts. And we've got, the big players like Hudson's Bay used to have a little bit of toy business. So we have got retailers that have seasonal toy business, a very, very highly seasonal category. So how do you see the category today, and how's that shaping the opportunity for retailers like yourself?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, there's no doubt. There's been a lot of disruption. You think through supply chain shocks, inflation, obviously the digital disruption going on, consolidation with some of the large retail giants. But the category has been pretty resilient. Demand is holding up because I really believe that play, it's not discretionary in the same way that other categories are. I think what is changing is how parents think about play. I think parents today are far more intentional. They're not just buying toys to fill time or bins. They're looking for quality experiences that help their kids learn, create, engage with a world that doesn't have a screen or a device. And one of the things I've said to the team is parents today aren't just buying toys, they're buying moments without screens. And so I think this shift and this sentiment favors specialty retailers like us. If we can thoughtfully curate an assortment that can help parents make confident choices.
Is that, there's been a lot of indie toy retailers that haven't made it, and it feels like your drive we're going to talk about the franchise drive, you've got to get some scale to attract those kind of exclusive relationships with those specialty vendors as well, right? Is that part of your strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're a national store network today. We're
how many stores are you? I've lost track in the comings and goings. What are you at now?
Yeah, so we're just under 50 stores, so 49. We're in coast to coast, all regions of the country. We recently opened our first 2 stores in Quebec as well.
Nice.
And there is an aspect of having that national coverage and scale is important to certainly have a platform to be top of mind with customers, talk to our customers, and engage with communities. But it's finding the sweet spot there of scale does matter to a point, and I think we're on a good path to get us back to a very good position, especially as we look at models like franchising.
Right, and as you think about the seasonality of the business, I mean that's interesting to someone coming from a business that was a 365 business. It's intensely seasonal, but of course as I like to say, every day is a gift-giving opportunity for birthdays and other things. How do you drive that relevance and drive profitability outside those peak holiday periods?
I think it's a really good one. I mean, for us, there's really two major periods of the year. Think of January through October. There is a need for great toy destinations because everyone is coming into the market October, November, December when you're in peak and Santa is on his way. Yeah. But you're exactly right. The rest of the year, there are meaningful life moments in all the seasons. And it's birthdays. You think of those developmental milestones in June when kids are graduating a milestone in grade school or celebrating report cards. You think of parents looking for early learning opportunities to give their kids a leg up, and that goes on year round. And then there's just also everyday gifting. One of our most successful days of the month is Grandparents' Day. Actually, Grandparents' Day is today. So if you're grandparents, please visit our stores.
That's fantastic.
But there's everyday gifting as well, where the grandkids are coming for a visit.
Sure.
And we're going to go out and get a gift to make that a magical moment when they visit that weekend, which I know my parents and my in-laws love to do with our kids. So it is very much a 365 business for us. And what that means for us is, being in tune with trends, being very disciplined in our assortments, making sure we're connected with our communities, and thinking beyond just Christmas to those moments that we can help families experience magic in the rest of the year.
We'll be right back right after these messages. The Voice of Retail is brought to you by Hale, the partner behind some of the fastest growing DTC and retail brands in North America. Hale is recognized for senior teams who cut out the noise and keep their focus on what matters most, growth. Their approach is based on outcomes, not hours. They are selective with who they partner with, bringing speed, accountability, and a clear strategy to every engagement. Paid media, content, performance, all of it connects directly to real results. That's why brands like A6 Sage and Orange Theory choose Hale to help them scale. Learn more at wearehale.com. Can we talk about the role of your stores? So, there's I want to understand your perspectives around, four-wall profitability versus stores as key promotion, stores as media, as it's been said, stores as driving presence and community. People are opening stores, I think, to get out of and out from under some of the platforms. Spend some money somewhere. Let's do it in a great piece of real estate. How do you think about stores?
Yeah, look, four-wall profitability still matters, but it's far from the full picture, right? If you think of our stores, they're also community hubs. They're experience centers where you can come in and have a tactile experience with a toy. They're places where really play comes to life. And, we do things like we host Lego building events on a Saturday morning, family puzzle nights with partners like Ravensburger. Hands-on activities that bring kids, parents, grandparents together in meaningful ways. And these events create memories, not just transactions, which I think is very powerful. And, we've also seen how powerful moments of surprise and delight can really be. I was at a recent store opening we did, and we partnered with one of our friends at Grosvenor, who supports us with Pokemon, and we had Pikachu arrive from Pokemon, and the energy in the store was incredible. The kids were lining up to get their photo with Pikachu. Parents were smiling. We had popcorn and balloons going, and it just reinforced that retail can be magical, right? And so those experiences, they drive connection, loyalty, long-term value, and the best stores, you don't just sell products, right? You're selling relationships and experiences with your communities.
So let's get to it. You made the strategic decision to get to a franchise model. Talk about that. I suspect it's a blended model, corporate owned and franchise. But talk about why now is the right time to franchise the Mastermind Toys brand.
Yeah, I think, look, for us, there's three clear signals. One is we've had strong inbound interest from a lot of experienced local operators and entrepreneurs saying, hey, we love the brand. And how can we bring the brand to our community? How can we can support the continued growth of a great Canadian institution? I think the second one is, there's markets where the brand is resonating, but from a corporate standpoint, it's maybe a little harder for us to scale at the current time. And actually finding a local partner allows us to really serve those communities and those customers in a way that, we wouldn't be able to in the nearer term. And then probably the most powerful one is growing local ownership really helps us with that community connection. Our best stores, they have this connection with their communities that are absolutely magical. And, I was at a store recently during the holiday season, and I had a young mother come and stop me and said, "Hey, are you somebody from the home office?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I love this store. I know the store manager from when I was a little girl with my mom, and I'm here with my kids." She was visiting Toronto from being out of town, and said it's absolutely magical to be here. And she knew the store manager by name, and she knew some of the staff, and that sort of local connection. It's something that local operators, entrepreneurs, I think are really going to bring the next level of Mastermind magic to new locations and new communities in Canada.
Now, as you think about these locations and communities, do you have different footprints for it? A smaller A, B, and C, perhaps a smaller community, smaller footprint, a different assortment, and talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, we've been experimenting with a few, but I think for a new store, a lot of our footprint has been focused a little bit smaller than where we've been in the past, and I think that's a function of, you can do a lot in a 3,000 square foot Mastermind. You don't need a huge box. That's part of the magic, especially when we're curating we have a new store in Woodbridge that I think strikes an amazing balance between being this magical toy store and offering great experiences and great service from the staff, all in a 3,000 square foot box. But I would say even in our existing locations that are a little larger, I think in larger established communities, those could work as well. We see where there's a large population of our customer base. You can make the larger store work because you can create some magical experiences, as I discussed, and those stores can become platforms for communities coming together with their kids to create some memories on weekends.
Now, I spent some time at Pandora Jewelry, which was a largely franchise model, and one of the points we worked on a lot was the e-commerce integration. Who gets the credit? How do you assign, pick up in store? How are you thinking through online sales and the franchise model?
Yeah, look, I think our future is working with our operators, whether it's a corporate or franchise operator, to use those locations as e-commerce pickup points. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned,
they want you to drive footsteps, right? I've been on the end of that.
You drive footsteps right. to come in and pick up the item.
That's your job.
But also, if you want to have that magic of convenient delivery of a gift wrapped item, that only comes with the store playing a major role in your fulfillment, right? So, we've been very thoughtful in how we're building our model in a way that, how we're partnering with our franchisees, where they see the real strength in e-commerce, and we work with them as great operating partners to really fulfill magic to customers, whether that's customers coming in and picking it up, or the store beautifully wrapping and packing a delivery that's going to go out from their location and be in a customer's hands same day or next day.
Right on. I want to change gears a little bit. I can't have someone of your experience on the mic without asking you about the bigger picture and trends in retail beyond your category. How do you assess the landscape? I mean, I just had a conversation with Benjamin Tal from CIBC. He seems to, the economists in general seem to be more positive than I am actually about the prospects for the economy. And then, of course, this was the first agentic AI Christmas. So what are the big trends that you're keeping an eye on? What are the trends you think are overhyped, and what's grabbing your attention when you sit down and have a big whiteboard in front of you?
Yeah, I think there is a lot going on, and I love the quote of it's the pace of change is never going to be as slow as it is right now, which I think is very apt for kind of what we're living through right now. Mm-hmm. I think from my point of view, with everything going on, it's just reinforced the need to be clear on why, as a business, why you exist, who you're there to serve, and be very deliberate in how you're going to do it. I think in a world where you have a lot of AI, you've got a lot of really, really exceptional mass retailers that are participate in a really broad way. Mm-hmm. You've got to really be thoughtful around why would somebody come and partner with you, right? And so that's one of the things we're trying to do as a business, right? We're not trying to be everything to everyone. You've got to be really thoughtful on the moments that matter, how you're going to double down on experience, how you're going to create that unique moment. And then once you're clear on that value proposition, then it's thinking through how can I use the trends to really reinforce the position. I think using AI for AI's sake, it's great to experiment, but you need to first build a view of who you are, what you want to accomplish with your customers, and then look for the applications of some exceptional technology that can help you further your aim.
I feel like there's an opportunity here for the retail industry because increasingly I can't trust what I see or hear anymore online, or I have no faith. I watch these videos and they're so real. It feels like there's a role for retailers, particularly stores, to say, listen, you can trust us because you come in and experience it firsthand. Kind of building on what you've been saying over the course of the interview. Yeah, do you agree?
Yeah, fully. I mean, look, the great demise of brick and mortar retail, I think, has been dramatically overblown. I think I firmly believe, people are, and humans, we're social beings. We love to connect with each other and we love experiences. And, I think that there are commodity needs that we all have. And I think there it's about convenience, speed. And I think that's where a lot of the exceptional tools that are out there are going to play a huge role. But then there is a part of, we want to do things that bring meaning joy, enrich their lives, especially with our kids. Like I get excited watching my kids participate in things and get excited about things. And I think that's a real opportunity for retailers. It's thinking through finding the right balance of how we're going to use the technology and be smart around serving some of the basic needs. But then it really does matter that we show up and create those unique experiences in a way that is true to our culture, that is a point of differentiation, that it's something that an agent or a larger rival would be challenged to replicate.
All right, last question for you. Looking ahead, what does success look like for Mastermind Toys over the next 3 to 5 years? You've set a path forward. What does it look like as you look backwards? If you and I are having this conversation in a couple of years, what does it look like?
Yeah, look, success for me is, and for us, right, is ultimately being the most trusted toy brand in Canada. And that's making sure we've got a very healthy and strong mix of corporate and franchise stores coast to coast. We've got a very strong e-commerce business that is bringing the Play Expert promise and Mastermind magic to life, not only in our stores, but also in our digital experiences. And it's delivering that consistent business performance to all of our stakeholders. And, if families see us as a trusted brand and continue to say we go to Mastermind when it really matters, then I think we've done our job.
It's like, well, listen, it's such a great conversation. A real treat to get you on the mic. Great start to the year. And listen, I congratulate you on all your success, and I wish you much continued success, both for your endeavors and for Mastermind. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, are you a LinkedIn guy, or what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Absolutely, you can find me on
maybe there's
LinkedIn.
Somebody listening that wants to be a franchisee, that they're excited about the opportunity. How do they get in touch?
You can find me on LinkedIn. Absolutely, just send me a DM, and probably the best way to get me. And would love to have the conversation.
All right. Well, John, thanks again so much for joining me on The Voice of Retail. It's been a real treat, and I look forward to seeing you and watching the progress of the brand for this year and many years beyond.
Thank you, sir, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of The Voice of Retail. If you haven't already, follow on your favorite podcast platform so new episodes will land automatically each week. And be sure and check out my other retail industry media properties, the Remarkable Retail Podcast with Steve Dennis and the Global E-Commerce Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Michael LeBlanc, Senior Retail Advisor, Keynote Speaker. If you want more content or chat, follow me on LinkedIn. Safe travels, everyone.